Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, now we move on to the special session of the convention. We have one of the outstanding speakers going to be talking to us this morning on how to plan your career over a period of 20 years. There could be nobody better than Mr. Shivakumar, who is head of Aditya Birla Group, and Shivakumar is one of the well-wishers of MMA. He has been a great source of mentor for us, and ladies and gentlemen, let me have the privilege of presenting to you Mr. Shivakumar, delivering the special address on the theme of your career planning for a period of next 20 years.
Mr. Shivakumar is currently the Group Executive President, Corporate Strategy and Business Development at Aditya Birla Group. Mr. Shivakumar joined the group in January 2018. Before that, he served as Chairman and CEO of PepsiCo for 4 years. He also worked with Nokia as CEO for India and later emerging markets for a decade. He is currently the Chairman of the Mobile Marketing Association and Chairman of the Advertising Standards Council of India. He is also on the board of XLRI and IIM Udaipur. Mr. Shivakumar was awarded Distinguished Alumnus by IIT Madras and IIM Calcutta.
Hi, good morning. I'm really pleased to have this conversation with you on behalf of the Madras Management Association, one of the best management associations in India, which has actually led and set many a benchmark for management as well as other associations in India. Today, I'm happy to talk to you about your career, a very important decision you're going to make in the next few weeks, I think. The first thing I want to talk about is a career or work is very different from college. So far, you've been in college. When you're in college, you have what I call a theoretical base or a lot of conceptual knowledge. When you get on to work, you have to be extremely practical and start there. So you have to forget what college life is and start what I call work life is as soon as you start work. Let me give you some of the differences. When you are in college, you decide to choose which topic you want to study, which subject you want to study, which class you want to go to, and which friends you want to hang out with. That's not true at work. At work, you have to land up at 9 in the morning, finish at 5:30 in the evening. You have to work with everybody. You cannot say, I will only work with one person or two people. You have to work with everybody. You have to have respect for everybody and work closely with everyone. In college, you have a lot of energy. You need to bring the same energy to the workplace, but it has to be subdued in the interest of the company. Next, in college, you can stay late, do whatever you want, and next morning still be blurry-eyed and do what you want. At work, that will not work at all. You have to have the regular rhythm of exercise, good sleep, so that you are absolutely fresh every morning when you come to work. Remember, when somebody takes you on to work for them, you have to be an asset. And think about being a great asset when you join a company. The first decision you're going to make when you look for jobs or when you pick a job is, what type of a company should I choose? Invariably, there are a few variables, and I'll list 6 of them for you. Number 1 will be salary for you. You'll always say, what's the salary this company is paying me? Number 2 will be location. Where is the location? Number 3 will be the designation which this company is giving me. Are they calling me assistant manager? Are they calling me manager? Are they calling me supervisor? Whatever it is. Next is, you will have some sense of the culture of the company. You'll read about the company in digital media, you look at Glassdoor ratings, whatever it is, you'll have some sense of their culture. Then you'll also have a sense of the learning opportunity in the company. And finally, you will think of the brand value of the company. These are the 6 variables which will come to your mind when you decide to pick one company or another company, or you decide to pick any one company. To me, the most important thing you must always consider is the culture of the company. Is the learning ability in that company for you to learn as much as you can. And finally, what is the brand value of the company? Let's start with the culture of the company. You will never know from the outside what the culture of the company is. So it's extremely important for you to talk to people who have worked in that company before or who have left that company and get from them a very good analysis of what are the pros and cons. And this is true at every level. For example, when I joined Nokia as managing director, I must have spoken to at least 200 people in the ecosystem to figure out what Nokia does well and what Nokia did not do well. What was the capability of their people? Where was Nokia short? I did the same exercise when I joined PepsiCo. So talking to as many people as possible and getting a rough idea about the culture of the company, how it behaves, how it acts is a very important thing for you to consider. Second, I would say is learning. Is this company known for learning? Do its managers and its policies allow you to learn as much as you can? Because what's important is, I mentioned that you come from a theoretical framework. Now, when you start work, your learning curve has to be very steep. You have to ask yourself, if I work in this company for 2 to 3 years, am I able to get about 10 years worth of experience from all its managers and cram it into those 2-3 years and really make me a very rich learning individual? That's the second thing you need to think about. And the last thing is the value, the brand value of the company. Remember, when you start work, you have a certain brand value because you come from a certain institute. You might be coming from Institute X or Institute Y or Institute Z. That institute has some brand value. And your name, whatever it is, has some brand value. Okay, that's the combination. But the combination of that brand value is very small compared to the brand value of the company you will join. It's over a period of time, maybe 15 years or so, that you will establish your own brand value and the company will aid you and you will aid the company. But at this point of time, you have to consider what is the brand value of the company. There are small companies, there are medium companies, there are large companies. And a lot of people ask me, should I join a large company? I will get lost. And I would again tell them, think about the resources in that company, think about the learning in the company, think about the culture of that company. If you join a small company, there's no doubt that a small company will stretch you. But a small company might not have the same kind of resources that a large company can give you. So you have to ask yourself, what type of a company person you are. Are you a large company person who likes structure, process, resources to deliver? But are you, on the other hand, a small company person where you want to do 20 things and try and make an impact? So you have to make a choice depending on what suits you and then fit the company accordingly. In my sense, whatever your favorite function or topic is, suppose you are in production, suppose you are in marketing, suppose you are in finance, you must always join the company which is best known for that discipline. If you do that, you'll have a fantastic fit. So for me, marketing was my passion when I started and then I moved to general management. So if marketing was my passion, I had to go to Hindustan Lever in order to learn from the best practitioners of marketing in that company. So as a first-time manager, there'll be a lot of things going on in your mind in terms of how do I approach my work. And the first thing I would say, the first mantra I have for you is work hard. As many people have said, hard work never killed anyone, but laziness killed a number of people. And you must work very, very hard. If you work hard, only luck or bad luck can stop you. And when you work hard, what happens to you? You learn a lot. For example, let me give you my sense from when I was a management trainee in Hubli. My ecosystem consisted of my distributor, which was Supreme Trading Company, and Hari and Babu, who were the owners of that company. After seeing me for a month, they decided that they would invest in my learning because I was working hard. And they went out of their way to teach me as much as they could about the market, about the retail outlets, about our product range, etc. So when you work hard, I submit to you that you learn faster than anybody else. Next is, when you work hard, you establish yourself as a professional. Because remember, you come with an MBA degree. People have a certain set of expectations of you. They believe that somebody with this kind of a qualification and degree will be significantly more professional than anybody else. So your benchmark should not be what is the work ethic of other people around you. Your benchmark should be, am I doing the very best to live up to this profession? I have a degree called MBA to live up to. I have a degree from an institute that I must highlight. I must actually be a damn good ambassador for the institute that I represent. So that's the other benefit of working hard. You will be seen as professional. The third benefit of working hard is you build your own reputation. if there is one thing I would advise you right through your career, remember, reputation is very, very fragile. Everything you do adds to your reputation or subtracts from your reputation. Whatever you do, never subtract from your reputation. And a reputation which is built over 10 years can go away in 10 minutes. And that's the tough life that we lead today. So whatever you're doing, if you work hard, remember, you will earn a reputation of being a safe pair of hands, as somebody who can be trusted, as somebody who can be delegated a task to. So working hard will build your reputation. Many times I've seen, from the time I've been a management trainee, people say, he's fine, but he's lazy. Never let anybody tell you that you are intellectually lazy or even physically lazy. The last thing about working hard is you will get the right breaks. If you work hard, ask yourself, which company will not want you in their company? Which leader will not want you in his team? Everybody will go out of their way to say, you know what, this boy or this girl works hard, I want them in my team. Because everybody wants conscientious, professional, hardworking people. So whatever you do, when you start your career and right through your career, trust me, whether your career is 25 years or 35 years or 40 years, there is no substitute to hard work. I end this part by telling you exactly where I started. Hard work never killed anybody. Laziness killed a number of executives. The second question you have when you start work is, who will teach me? Or specifically, I've heard a lot of young people ask me, how will I learn? I think any which way you look at it, I think it's a very important question. So who can teach you? First, you need to teach yourself. Before you ask your boss to teach you, or the company to teach you, or anybody else to teach you. So how do you teach yourself? I think you teach yourself by learning as much about your product, your service, your category, your company, your industry. So even before you join the company that you're going to work for, I would seriously ask you to go to the net and check everything there is about your company, check everything there is about the industry. That body of knowledge, even if you spend a week on that, will last you, I personally believe, for more than 2 to 3 years. So please do that. Second, when you start, it's quite likely that you will work with a bunch of people in your ecosystem. So for example, if you start in sales, you'll work with customers, you'll work with retailers, you'll work with other people. If you start in finance, you'll work with your suppliers, you'll work with your vendors, whoever it is. So that's the other place where you can learn a lot. By just talking to your ecosystem partners, you can understand how your industry and company works. And that's a very good source of knowledge and a very good source for you to build. Next thing is be curious. Don't accept what's given to you. That's how you learn. Question in your own mind, why does this happen in this company or this industry? That's a question I have asked myself every single day I worked in an industry. For example, 2 years ago, Mr. Birla asked me to run one part of the cement business. And one of the things I noticed in the cement business was that there were different prices in different markets. So I asked myself the question, why can't the cement industry have one MRP like it's there in every other industry? And then we figured out a way, and then we put the one MRP concept in. So you have to question deeply what you see in every industry, what you see in your company. That's the best way to learn. They say curiosity killed the cat, it won't kill you. Curiosity will actually give you kudos and it will make you intellectually richer. So be as curious as you can about everything that happens in your industry. The next thing is your peer group is a very good reference benchmark to learn from. Each of us has different skills and different strengths. Okay, if you put a bunch of 10 people in a room, it's quite likely that people have different interests you can learn from. And I would actually advocate you to go and seek out your peers and tell them, what you like, what are your hobbies, what are you interested in, and equally listen from them what they are interested in. That's a big source of learning. And finally, your boss. The biggest advantage of having a boss is that he has experience. If you look at the lifespan of any individual or a career, we have the highest energy when we are 25. We have the maximum wisdom when we are 60. And the right combination of energy and wisdom is about 42. And that's why most CEOs tend to get their breaks around the 40-year age mark. I got my career break as a CEO around that age mark. So that's what you need to think about. So when you have a boss, The question you must ask is, how do I condense his X years of experience into the 1 or 2 years that I'll work for him? If you can do that, constantly pepper him with questions. I remember one of my early bosses, I would ask him, what is a wholesale pack? Why does it exist? What is a retail pack? Why does it exist? Why is a store called a general store? Why is a store called a fancy store? Why is somebody called a wholesaler? By just asking naive questions out of curiosity, I could actually tap into the experience of this boss of mine who had more than 25 years experience at that point of time. Okay, so be curious and try and condense the experience of your superiors into the little time that you have with them. The third question most people have when they join a company is, how long should I stay in the company? This is a very relevant question. And I've seen that most MBAs not most MBAs, let me get it right. More than 50% of a batch tends to change their job in the first year. I've asked myself this deep question as to why this happens. Having been on the board of IIM Ahmedabad, on Udaipur right now, and XLRI, one of the reasons this happens for MBAs is because placement season is a lottery season. In placement, you are allowed 2 options. Your dream company might not come. Even if your dream or best company comes, maybe you're off form that day, you don't get selected. So it's like a T20 match. You've got, 15 balls to score 30 or 40 runs. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. So placement in many places is a lottery. And that's the reason a lot of MBAs tend to switch jobs in the first 12 months after picking something. So here's the thing, assuming that you've got the right offer or you're in the right company, I would advocate a minimum of 2 to 5 years for you to stay in a company as long as you're learning in the company, the culture is good in the company, and the company has reasonable brand value. Remember, when you start, each of us is a nobody. It's the company brand name which is on our shoulder which pulls us through. So I would ask you, despite all the challenges you face in the company, despite the challenges you might face on its policies, etc., you must commit yourself to the company. If you commit yourself to the company, I promise you, what you lose on the curve, you'll more than make up on the straight. So don't be in a hurry to leave a company. Okay? Ask yourself, do a balance sheet exercise. What is this company good at? What is it offering me? What are the problems in this company which I see as problems but might not really be problems? If you do that analysis and just don't go by an emotional thing of, I don't like this, I don't like my office space, I don't like my title, I don't like that, this, that, etc. There are 100 reasons why we would want to leave a company. Trust me. There are very few good reasons why you want to stay in a company. Let me give you my own personal example. When I was an area sales manager with Hindustan Lever, we had a tough year that year. And all of us were on a cost cutting spree. I was area sales manager Andhra, and from Chennai, from where I'm speaking with you today, I used to travel by bus to Vijayawada. By bus, not even train. Now bus is 420 kilometers journey, overnight back-breaking journey. But we did it because we loved the company. And a lot of my classmates would say, you know what, this guy is flying to Dubai, he's flying to America, he's flying business class. But that's his life, that's his career. I loved the company, I loved the job I was doing, and I felt that I had to contribute to the company through its tough times. And I personally believe that you must commit to a company for a period of 2 to 5 years. If you do that, I personally believe you will tend to benefit. I'm sure you have a lot of dilemmas. I've just addressed a few of them. Going through a career, you have multiple dilemmas. I'm just writing a book, or I've finished writing a book. It's going to go into print in the next 2 weeks. And the book is called The Right Choice, and it's about managing 10 career dilemmas on the journey from being management trainee to managing director. Okay, the book gets released in January. Please look at it. I'd be absolutely happy to hear back from you in terms of what you felt about the book. But that book addresses the 10 big dilemmas that every person has in managing a career. It's been an absolute pleasure, my dear students. I'm told there are thousands of you out on the call. Thank you very much for dialing in. It's been my pleasure to do this for you. And once again, I thank Madras Management Association, my good friend Mali who asked me to do this, and my good friend Captain Vijay Kumar, who is always the pillar behind MMA. Thank you and all the very best for the balance of the day.
We are given to understand that there are a lot of disruptions taking place, especially due to technology, and technology itself is changing fast. In such a fast changing environment, how should we as students plan our career for a decade or more?
I think that's a great question. I was just saying this the other day in one of the sessions that, we talk about how companies are getting disrupted. I submit to you that companies are not getting disrupted. Individuals are getting disrupted far faster than companies are getting disrupted. What do I mean by that? We go with a theoretical base of knowledge we've learned over 25 years. Our whole concept of work has been, I study for 25 years, I'll work for the next 25, 30 years, and then I'll retire for 10, 15 years. That's been our concept. But that concept was true in a world which was steady. That is not true anymore. In 1960, the average age of a company was 60 years. Today in 2020, the average age of a company is less than 20 years. So the pace of change is dramatic, and digital is leading that. So what happens now? Thanks to digital, thanks to the pace of change, we are seeing a new management concept at the table every 12 to 14 months. So if you are not up to date with your learning, it's unlikely that you will be able to ride out what you've learned for the last 25 years. So the only way you can face disruption, and as an individual that you cannot be disrupted, is to develop new skill sets and to keep on learning. I just said this in one of the sessions in the Aditya Birla group last week, that today access to knowledge is not a problem. Okay, it's the attitude to knowledge which is the problem. You have complete access to knowledge on this phone. All you need to do is type in a few words. So I submit to you, develop the attitude to learn. Learn every day for an hour, and I guarantee you, you will not be disrupted. So don't worry about companies being disrupted. You should seriously worry whether your skill set is being disrupted.
Dream big, think big, plan big, do big, and only then can one achieve big is what has been inculcated since childhood. Does it work that way? Is it not important to focus one small step at a time so that we don't fall or don't fail big?
Great question again. Whenever we think of a career, we have dreams. There's nothing wrong in dreaming, and I think it's a good thing to dream. But staying at the dreaming level is not going to get you there. Remember that. You have to do something about it. I always maintain that the long term is a series of short terms. Okay, one plays into the other, and then it goes that way. I'm a great believer, and I've said this many times over my career, that don't plan your career, prepare for it. What do I mean by don't plan your career? I've seen many people, some of my peer group, some of my bosses, set artificial deadlines. I had a boss who said, I want to be a VP by the time I'm 40. I don't know what that artificiality is. So by the time he turned 40, he went and joined a small foods company. That company got bought over, then he went and joined another small company. And for the next 5 years, he was on the small company circuit, and by the time he was 46, 47, nobody picked him. And then he went and started consulting on his own. So don't set these artificial deadlines in your mind, that I want to be something by the time I'm 40 or 50 or whatever it is. Let me explain from my point of view. When I was in business school, I wanted to be good in marketing. I wanted to study marketing. I used to write to all the marketing professors at that time. Philip Kotler, Peter Drucker, Benson Shapiro, you name it. Yoram Wind. I wrote to all of them. And they would send me back their articles and I would read them, etc. A lot of my classmates would make a lot of fun out of me, saying, this guy is only in touch with professors and things like that. Okay, so the point of the story is that you have to prepare to being good in something, not to plan. Okay? If you want to be a CEO, which is what most MBAs aspire to be, I would ask you a simple question. What do you think are the top 5, 6 things which a CEO has to be good at? You might come back with a list which says he has to be good at strategy, he has to be good at communication, he has to be good with people, things like that. So put down that list of 5-6 things or whatever you want to do. Okay? And then ask yourself, where do you rate yourself on that today? And then systematically work to bridge that gap. If you systematically work to bridge that gap, you will get the job. The dream which you had, it will materialize. On the other hand, if you say, I want to be a CEO, and you don't work hard at building the capabilities which are required to be a CEO, nobody will give it to you. So if you prepare, I believe the opportunity will knock on your doorstep. So my simple submission to you, prepare, don't plan. If you prepare, you will be the best guy suited for that job.
It is often said that hard work is now passé and smart work only can lead to success. Is this a healthy trend?
This question of hard work and smart work is something I have been asked many times over. I have a different point of view on this. Let me start by answering the question in terms of why is there this dichotomy between hard work and smart work. I personally believe a number of people think in the dimension of time. They think I have 24 hours. If I have 24 hours, do I really want to slog for a company for 18 hours? Don't I have a life of my own? Don't I have work-life balance, etc., etc.? So then they tend to think in their mind, I am committed to the company between 9 and 5 o'clock. So let's take 8 hours. So what can I do smartly in 8 hours that I keep my job and I keep getting ahead? I think the time variable is what determines this question between hard work and smart work. In my sense, I think hard work is most important. You forget hard work or smart work. Let me give you another word, which is called sincere work. Whatever you do, be sincere to it. If you are sincere to it, it might take 20 minutes, it might take 20 hours for you to complete the task, but so be it. Get that done. Taking shortcuts might help you, might be seen as smart work. It might help you, I might say 10-15% of the time. But if you stick to your sincerity, you stick to hard work, that will win you 95% of the time. So don't try to be smart and take the easy route or cut corners in order to get work done. Because invariably you will end up losing something when you take a shortcut. I don't know what the cost of that loss will be. I have absolutely no idea. It depends on what you're going to do. But for me, what has worked is hard work. I remember one of my bosses wrote in 1994 or 95 on my appraisal. He said, for Shiv, work is his wife and hard work is his mistress. That's the only appraisal he had, or that comment he had. I've always been proud of working hard. And the pride of working hard comes when you're committed to the company. You're committed to the cause of the company, committed to the purpose of the company. So find a place where you're committed and go and do it.
How do you define career-mindedness? Is it an inborn quality or is career-mindedness acquired over a period of time?
Okay, so when we say we are career-minded, what do we mean? It can mean different things to different people. A career-minded thing for some people might be, I want to progress the fastest. I want to get to the top of the function or the top of the company in the shortest possible time. That's one sense of career-mindedness. The second sense of career-mindedness can be that I need a decent salary to take care of my needs, wants and desires. I need some money so that I can take good care of my family, I can take good care of my children, I have the right car, the right motorcycle, or I'm able to take holidays, I'm able to dress well, whatever it is. A third way of defining career-mindedness is I'm in a good company with a good title and I have respect in society. Another way of looking at career is that people reach out to me for advice and people think that I'm somebody who they can talk to. A good career involves not just work. So I would submit to you, you have to work hard, there's absolutely no doubt about it. But a bigger part of your career I would like you to think about is contribution. Are you contributing to industry? Are you contributing to society? Are you contributing to education institutions? That is just as important to have a good career. If you are a solo-minded, solo industry, okay, I'm only for my career and nothing else, you will actually realize that you will be a unidimensional person. Okay, why am I doing this session with MMA today? Because it is my duty to contribute to the management thinking in this country. That's why I'm doing it. I can have other things to do in the same time. So I would seriously submit to you, broaden your definition of what a good career is. A good career is one part job, one part contribution to society, one part contribution to people who work with you, and one part contribution to institutions like the MMA. Okay, if you can do that, I think you'll have a holistic experience and people will look up to you as a thought leader at that point of time.
From senior industry professionals, we learn that everyone faces hardships in their career. What mindset should one develop to overcome hardships in career? Could you please share some anecdotes from your career, please?
Absolutely. So, no career is a smooth journey. Okay, my career has had many bumps. I've had many good years. I've had, I think, 6 or 7 very bad years. But that's life. I would, give you the analogy of an aircraft. Let's assume you take off today from Chennai. There is a cyclone around us, and you're flying to London. This morning when I landed, I saw 2 British Airways aircraft on the tarmac. On this journey, which you're going from Chennai to London, it's about an 11-hour journey. You will find headwinds, you will find tailwinds, you will find crosswinds. You will find air pockets, you will find turbulent weather, plane will go up and down. Just because you go through turbulence or you go through headwind does not mean you'll open the window and jump out. You will never do that. And that's what is about careers. Not everything will go your way, despite you doing very well. There are years when I worked 48/7. I how many hours I could find, but the results were not there. But that's okay. As long as you can look at yourself in the mirror and say, I have done the best possible in the circumstances, you should be fine. Whenever you face headwinds in a career or challenge, is it the market which is giving you headwind? Is it the company which is giving you headwind? Is it your boss who is giving you the headwind? It's very important to distinguish that. And if you repeatedly face hurdles because people don't like you or people don't want you to succeed, then it's a very different type of headwind. The best bosses I have found in my career give you tailwind. If you're good, they will encourage you to do more. When you face a rough patch or a turbulent patch, there are 2-3 things to consider which are very important. In every career, for every human being, you need what I call emotional anchors. We need emotional anchors, especially when you go through a tough phase. So who can your emotional anchors be? Your emotional anchors can be your family, your wife, etc. Your emotional anchors can be your friends. Your emotional anchors can be your parents. Your emotional anchors can be your teacher. In some cases, your emotional anchor can also be your boss. So use your emotional anchors, get it off your chest, talk to them. And these people will give you a perspective which is broader than what you are looking at. And emotional anchors help us diffuse the tension when we go through a rough patch. The second which I would say when you go through a rough patch is you need to develop some degree of better confidence and better resilience. Every storm passes, this too shall pass. Whenever somebody encounters a challenge, then suddenly people crumble. No boss, no company can give you a vitamin tablet every day to say you will have confidence or you will have resilience. Confidence and resilience are inborn things. It is here. It's in your head. Let me give you a good example. Ricky Ponting played for Calcutta Knight Riders in 2008. And Nokia, the company I was working in then, we sponsored Calcutta Knight Riders. So I was doing an interview for Ricky Ponting because I was the guest editor for CNBC for that week. So I asked Ponting, how do you deal with failure? And he gave me a very good answer. He said, Shiv, when I came on the 2003 trip of India, I was the vice captain. In the 3 test matches, I scored 16 runs, just 16 runs. Every time I came into bat, Harbhajan would get me out. I could sit in my room and mope all day saying I'm not getting runs. I asked myself, how do I build my own confidence back? He said the 2 people who were making runs at that point of time were Adam Gilchrist and Matthew Hayden. He said every day of the tour, I spent the evenings with them. hoping their luck would rub off on me or I would learn something from them. He was vice captain, mind you, and played badly. He later went on to become a very, very successful captain. So the thing is, even the best cricketers in the world, the best at anything in the world, remember, go through these challenges. But it's the choice of what they do when they go through the challenge which is important. You must always stay positive, and remember, this too shall pass. One storm does not determine your life. One storm does not determine your career. As long as you have that positive attitude about you, you will sail through your career and you will have an absolutely fantastic career.
Thank you, Mr. Shivakumar. As usual, it's been an inspiring address. I always tell, I'll walk miles to listen to you. The students really must have been energized and recharged by the tips what you have given to them this morning. Thanks indeed to you, Mr.